Hey, love. Hi. So I miss you. I'm so glad that we have reconnected and found each other. I have missed you. I got so much to share. Okay. So now I take these long walks in nature on a daily basis, and that is just like my therapy, okay? Along with a lot of breathing and meditation and stretching, but I find that I'm able to hear clearly, I'm able to think clearly, I'm able to kind of understand what Spirit is saying. So one of the messages that was coming in yesterday is that I needed to let people know to stop trying to skip a step. So I needed to let you guys know, stop trying to skip steps, okay? And Spirit was saying it's very important for you to let people know also that some of you have assignments, so you have a step that you have been given via intuition, via your guides, or maybe even in a physical level that has been orchestrated to take you to the next level, but you're trying to skip that step to get to the next step, right? And what Spirit has been saying is you can't skip steps. Like, this is not the time to skip the steps. You're going to have to take each step as needed. And not only are you going to have to take each step as it's needed, you're also going to find that you may not know everything all at once. Like, the information may come in bits and pieces, right? You're not going to have everything downloaded to you all at once. You're not going to understand everything all at once, right? So, like, for example, for me, I'm under the Scorpio archetype as far as my sun sign is concerned, right? And then my moon is Gemini. So there's always this ebb and flow of wanting to go deep, wanting to know what's at the depths of things. But also with the moon being in Gemini, I also want my emotional part of me needs to communicate. Like, I need to talk about it. I need to understand, let's have a conversation. And what I am finding, even in my own experience, I am not going to know everything immediately, right? I know what I know now, and based on what I know now, what steps do I need to take? Okay, so that's what the message is. All right, so if we're looking at, and I got my notes, so let me just go ahead and get my notes out because I want to make sure that I don't miss anything, right? Okay, so we're going to be talking in these videos not just about the channel messages, but I'm also going to give you realistic tips on how you can practice mental and emotional alchemy, right? Because that's important for you to be able to adjust to your new timeline, right? So you can think about this new shift that has happened into this new timeline. It's kind of like moving to a new state or moving to a new area, a new city, and quite not knowing where everything is. You don't know where your local Walmart is. You don't know where your local gas stations are. You don't know where the local bank is. So you got to kind of feel your way around the neighborhood or the area, for a couple of weeks, but by a month in, by 2 months in, by a year in, you're more settled and you understand the area and the terrain in which you now live, right? So Spirit is saying you're not going to be able to skip steps in this season, okay? Now, the overall issue that Spirit wants you to also pay attention to is any type of rejection that may be popping up in this season. And I also was hearing not just rejection, but ejection. Like, if you have been ejected from a particular phase in a relationship or phase at work, right? Something that you may have feel like you were just ejected out of, maybe even what do they call it? Not a promotion, but a demotion, right? So some of you are going to really have to pay attention to anything having to deal with rejection or feeling like you were ejected from something. You're going to have to maintain emotional maturity as you're dealing with these things also. So it's going to be important for you to tap into what you feel and tap into what you're thinking. So realistically, you really going to have to ask yourself, how do I feel and why do I feel this way? How do I think and why do I think this way? And I guarantee you, when you begin to ask yourself those questions and dig past the layers, you'll begin to discover things that you didn't even know was there, okay? And you can't really heal the things if you don't know that they're there, right? So paying attention to rejection, that's the overall issue as we're moving throughout this energy right now with this new shift, right? You got to pay attention to the things that makes you unhappy and the things that doesn't bring you comfort and stability in your home life, especially, right? The place where you're grounded, right? So you need to pay attention to that. You need to pay attention to any type of dysfunctional interaction that you're having with other people and kind of find within the dysfunction, where are you getting what you need from the dysfunction? Like, so what what is that dysfunction feeding you? Okay, so because some of us are going to have to make changes from dysfunctional relationship, dysfunctional friendships, dysfunctional interaction between yourself, like self-sabotage and action. Okay, so some of us are going to have to be able to take the steps to get to the other side of that. Now, I want to say also, because what Spirit was saying also is, it's important for you not to isolate yourself in this time, right? That's going to be important. You don't want to isolate yourself in this time. You want to be able to let things flow and not try to control everything, okay? And the way that you're going to let things flow by not kind of trying to control everything is being in tune with where you are in the moment. How do you feel in this moment? Are you feeling anxious? And if you're feeling anxious, why are you anxious? Okay, once you discover why you're anxious, you breathe, and then you remind yourself that everything that you need, love, everything that you need, every protection, every enlightenment, every financial need, every love, everything that you need, you have within you. There's nothing that you're lacking, right? But we've been taught through society, through upbringings, through painful experiences in relationship, through disappointments, we've been taught that we lack things, right? We've been taught through our experiences and how we perceive and filter life that some things we're not entitled to, or we're not worthy of having. We've been taught that, not just by other people, but based on our own experiences and interaction with other people, right? So Spirit is saying you need to know that you have everything that you are seeking externally, and you're going to have to learn to go with the flow. Don't be too hasty in your actions. You want to be confident, but you don't want to be too hasty in your actions, right? Make sure that you're not reacting to situations, but you are actually taking actions, which means that if it doesn't really demand your immediate attention, step back and process it before you take action, okay? So anything that's making you feel anxious, overwhelmed, irritated, frustrated, if it's not requiring some type of immediate action, you definitely want to pull back. You want to analyze, do some self-alchemy, some mental alchemy, pay attention to the thoughts, right? And then some emotional alchemy, pay attention to your feelings. And then you want to begin to ask yourself, what do I need to do now, right? And let me just say this, right? I say this all of the time, like spiritual growth has nothing to do with you waking up and feeling like you now peace, love, and light. That's not how it happens. Let me explain to you how this can work, okay? So if you're the type of person that's easily triggered by something, and along this path, you're discovering what the triggers are, right? Let's say, for example, somebody's poking the bear, and they're poking you, and you let them say something once. In the same conversation, you let them say it again in the same conversation, you let them say it again in the third time, and you're having the same conversation, and they keep repeating the same thing that triggers you. Now, they done did this 3 times in the same conversation, right? And by the 4th time, you explode, okay? Now, that's growth for you if the first time somebody said something when you're triggered, for you to respond. So if it takes them 4 times before you respond, you have to see how much that is growth for you. And the more that you begin to just take account of, okay, I'm going to let that pass. Okay, I'm going to let that pass. You begin to see not only are you healing and working your triggers because you know what the triggers are, but you're also healing and maturing spiritually, emotionally, and mentally, because people are not poking you, and people are not puppeteering in you for you to be able to react to whatever they think your triggers are, okay? So be mindful of that. You need to be able to let things flow. You need to pay attention to your thoughts right now in this season. Pay attention to the information that's coming in. Don't be reckless with your thoughts. Like, be intentional with your thinking, right? Be intentional with your thinking. And even when you find something negative or something at a vibration that doesn't really match where you want to go, you want to even ask yourself, why are you thinking that? Why do you feel that way? You're going to have to begin to self-discover who you are and ask the questions to yourself that you may normally ask to a lover or a friend, or whomever you care about, right? The same grace and empathy and sympathy that you give to other people, this is not a season for you to be able to give that to yourself, because in this new timeline, For you to be able to experience the fullness of what's happening in this new timeline, you're going to have to be self-aware. You're going to have to know why you're triggered, right? And sometimes the things that we think we're triggered by when it comes to deal with other people is really just us being upset with ourselves because we may not have taken a step, right? Or we're trying to skip a step to get to the other side. So sometimes when people irritate you and frustrate you, you're thinking it's them, it's them, it's them, it's them. But it's really you being irritated and frustrated with yourself because you haven't done the things or the thing that you need to do, right, to allow whatever the next step is to come forward. You're trying to skip steps, okay, and not own responsibility for where you are, for how you feel, and for what you think, okay? Determination is also going to be required as this new time shift. You're going to have to get committed to whatever it is in this season you're being asked to commit to, right? And you're going to have to be determined, and you're going to have to show up, and you're going to have to put in that work, whether it's shadow work, okay? Whether it's tampering, not tampering, but I want to say tapering your emotional outbursts, right? Especially with all of this water energy in the atmosphere right now, right? So you need to be mindful of that, right? You need to be mindful that the energy sphere is very palpable right now, like it can explode. Okay. And that's also planetary, but it also has a lot to do with people are becoming very desensitized to their own internal workings. So it's easier for them to point the finger to other people. And if you're ingesting a lot of social media content or just a lot of, I want to say lower vibratory content, like if you're constantly watching the news and you don't take breaks from lower vibrational content, what you can find is that you're overstimulated and a polarity that's negative and of a lower vibration. So anything that is not necessarily lining up with the sensitivity that you had could trigger you, right? So you just need to be mindful of that. Be mindful of how much you're taking in mentally, whether it's through social media, through the news, through conversation with other people. Just be mindful of how much energy you're taking in into your being, right? You want to be, that's going to be important as we're transitioning to, because I feel like there's a lot of people that's sitting with themselves and talking to themselves, but then what happens is you just woke up and you did all of this beautiful meditative work, and you go have a conversation with somebody and you indulge in that conversation, or you go listen to a particular video, right? And you indulge in the message of the video that's not really aligning with what you just sat and did for 20-15 minutes before you started your day, right? And some of you are allowing other people's frustration, right, to become your frustration, right? So you're allowing other people's frustration and other people's triggers to become your triggers, right? Now, let me just say this. As you pull back and you begin to investigate self and you begin to take account for self, you're going to start to see what relationships around you and what situations around you were mirroring back the self that you need to heal, that you need to release, that you need to let go, right? You're going to find those dysfunctional energies or those dysfunctional pockets within the company that you keep, within the things that you do, within the shows that you watch, okay? So this is not going to be a journey where you're just going to half-ass it. Like, this is not where we are right now. There's no longer half-assing anything, right? I keep hearing this song in my head all day. Ain't no half-stepping. I don't know if y'all remember that song, right? That's probably just telling my age, but just a little part of that song just kept on being replayed. Like, you cannot half-step this, okay? Another thing Spirit was saying was, you can't make a withdrawal without first making some type of deposit, right? And a lot of people are trying to make withdrawals for deposits that they did not put in, okay? So Spirit is saying it's like, you can't make withdrawals without first making a deposit. And another thing I kept hearing too, and when it comes to the steps, it's like you can't access your bank account without first signing in. So first you got to sign in or sign up for the bank account. You got to make a deposit, and then you can make a withdrawal. And Spirit is saying this is the season. If you're going to want to make a withdrawal, you first need to make sure that you place a deposit, which means you got to do the work. Nobody's going to be able to do this work for you. You were something truly amazing and truly special, like you really, really are, right? And I don't care how much time somebody can tell you that you're amazing and you're special and you're wonderful and you're talented and you got all of this beautiful stuff happening for you. If you don't believe that you're amazing, that you're talented, that you're gorgeous, that you're sensuous, that you're strong, right? A protector if you're a man, a provider, a good rounded soul, like seeks balance and knows when not to be neutral anymore and when to move forward. Like, if you don't recognize these things within yourself, what you can find is other people will see these things within you, but then you're not going to really be able to live the fulfillment of who you truly are because you're not embracing you. The timeline that we have shifted into is going to require you embracing you, okay? You can't be mad about the things that you didn't do or should have done or mad about doing something and the outcome of it. Like, you need to let it all go. You need to let it all go. You need to be thankful for all of it. You need to understand that even the messed up portions or the painful portions of your experience needed to unfold so you can be here in this moment right now, understanding and loving you completely for who you are. That was a requirement, okay? The final outcome of where we're going in this energy is beautiful. It's transformation. Pluto is going to be going back into Aquarius in about another month, okay? And when Pluto gets back, it's kind of like Pluto and Saturn is saying, okay, take what's useful and get rid of the rest, okay? Anything that's not useful cannot stay. That's the energy right now. What's useful can stay, but what is not useful gots to go, okay? So energetically, what I'm hearing Spirit say, don't fight it. Don't fight it. If somebody doesn't want to be in your life or be in your presence, give them the grace and let them go. If you've been trying to hold on to a career that you just find that you're struggling to, and things that just keep hitting knocking into each other at work, you might just have to surrender and let it go. I'm not saying physically walk away from your job. I'm talking about first energetically letting it go, emotionally letting it go, mentally letting it go, so Spirit can come in, the universe can come in and show you the path in which you need to move. Now, I'm going to say this before I jump, right? This is not the time where you can have all of these spiritual practices that you've been talking about for years, all of these books that you've been reading about for years, all of these different, serendipitous moments that you've been having for years, to be half-stepping it. Like, if you're going to know, you need to know. If you're going to believe, you need to believe, right? So you can't believe that the universe got your back, but then when something happens and it feels like the universe is not at your time and your beck and call in this exact moment, you think the universe don't have your back. You need to know that you know that you know that you know without a doubt that the universe has your back. You need to know that you know that you know without a doubt that everything that you need, you have within you. All you got to do is look within, seek within. You got to get silent. Okay, because Spirit speaks in the silence. It's not going to speak in a lot of chaotic noise, right? Because chaotic noise is like, I went to audio engineering school, right? And we had to listen to white noise. We had to listen to pink noise. We had to listen to all these to train our ears to be able how to hear when a frequency was off. We went through hours, days of being able to train our ear on white noise and pink noise so we can know when it's coming through or bleeding through in a microphone or in a track, right? So I'm hearing the same thing. Pay attention to you so you can know, right? When something is bleeding into your emotions, when something is bleeding into your thoughts, right? That's chatter and noise. That's a distraction. That's not meant for your greatest and highest good. It is a season of us really not really being able to live fully in I want to say blissfully and joyfully in the things that we love and we enjoy, right? And can I just tell you that the universe wants to be generous to you, but you're not even open for generosity with your own self, right? You can be generous to other people, you can give to other people, right? But the universe is saying, I want to just be generous to you. I want to show you things and show you experiences that you only dreamed about. I want to show you beautiful, blissful experiences that has nothing to do with pain, because you've experienced a lot of pain. Let me just show you. Let me just show you that there's something different on this side than what you've experienced on that side. Let me just show you that, right? But the way that I can show you that, one, you're going to have to trust me, and two, you're going to have to trust yourself. And the way for you to be able to trust me, the universe is saying, me, the universe, infinite, infinite, infinite abundance, infinite everything. The way that you're going to be able to trust me infinitely is by first trusting yourself, right? This is not about being wrong or right. This is not about being good or bad, right? This is about you just taking accountability for how you feel, when you feel it, right? For what you're thinking and when you think it, because your emotions and your thoughts are going to lead to actions, and your actions are going to lead to the manifestation of your experiences, right? So why not think something different? Why not feel something different, right? Now that's after first acknowledging what you think and what you feel, right? But if being negative and thinking negative is going to produce negative action and a negative outcome, and that's what you've been doing for a really long time, how about trying to feel something positive and something beautiful, and thinking something positive and something beautiful, and acting, right, with positivity and beauty, and then being able to experience positivity and beauty. I can tell you right now I'm going through one of the most challenging transitions in my spiritual walk. I've been going from social media for 3 years now, and coming back and having the eclipse last week that yanked the rug from under my table. I can tell you this, right? No amount of love outside of yourself is going to make you feel whole. The love that you seek, the happiness that you seek, the joy that you seek, the abundance that you seek, it all comes from within. And if you can tap into yourself and honor that part of you, I promise you, the universe will meet you there. I promise you, you can comment on all of the beautiful experience that you've been having, because you showed up for yourself and the universe showed out for you. Okay, so show up for yourself so the universe can show out for you. All right, and on that note, you know the deal. You want to go ahead and be kind to yourself. You want to love yourself, okay? You want to give yourself the grace and the patience and the compassion and the kindness that you give to others, because you deserve it, okay? And you also want to go ahead and be kind and compassionate to somebody else, not because they deserve it, but because you can, all right? On that note, my love, I'm going to see you guys in the next message, okay? Remember, you can't half-step this. No more half-stepping, okay? You won't have to take each step by step, and then keep it in mind that you might not get the next step without first taking the first step, okay? I love you, my love, and I'm going to see you in your next message. Bye.